We're here on Passyunk Avenue, South Philadelphia. Used to be the nerve center for Joey Merlino's operation more, and he was the major figure in Philadelphia organized crime. He had a coffee shop right here on Passyunk Avenue. It's kind of his headquarters where he hung out. Joey is a unique character in terms of the Philadelphia mob. Joey was the guy who gave the Philadelphia mob a face. He was the Philadelphia mob's first celebrity gangster. He was kind of the John Gotti of Passyunk Avenue. Before that, everybody was kind of low-key. Joey kind of embraced that, look at me, I'm a gangster, celebrity kind of approach to the underworld. And Joey had the bloodlines. Joey's father was Salvatore Chucky Merlino, who had been the underboss in the Scarfo crime family back in the 1980s. So he grew up around this life. His first big problem with the law was he was involved in an armored car robbery down here in South Philadelphia. He and two associates made off with about $357,000. One of the guards involved in the armored truck dropped the money off the back of the truck. Joey's associate picked it up. Joey ended up going to jail for 4 years on that case because his associates testified against him. The reason they had testified against him was Joey was hoarding all the money. And his approach to it basically was 2.5 years in prison, which is what he spent in prison, was the price he paid for $357,000. And that was kind of Joey's approach to life. In the mid-1990s, he becomes a major player in the underworld. And even when he was part of the organization, Joey was very much an outlaw and lived life on his own terms. He clashed with mob boss John Stanford. And it was a cultural, ethnic clash. Stanford was from Sicily, Joey was from South Philadelphia. Stanford was in his 50s, Joey and his guys were in their 30s. And so you had this mob war that broke out in the mid-1990s. Shootings here in South Philadelphia. Joey was wounded in one of those hits, survived the hit. His best friend, Mikey Chang, was killed. End of the day, Stanford and his associates get indicted, taken off the streets, and Joey becomes the titular head of the organization. Ralph Natale comes back from prison in 1995. They form an alliance. And from 95 to 99, they were running the show down here in South Philadelphia. Joey out of a clubhouse here, Ralph from over in South Jersey. Eventually that fell apart in typical fashion. A lot of conflict internally. Ralph becomes an informant, cooperates. Joey ends up getting jammed up in a big racketeering case. And he and his associates were convicted in 2001. He's currently finishing up a 14-year prison stint. Should be back in South Philadelphia within a year. A lot of different things kind of typify who Joey was. Joey used to give Christmas parties for homeless. Had a restaurant down here on Passyunk Avenue. Homeless kids from Kensington would be bussed in. They'd be given toys, presents. Fat Angelo Lutz played Santa Claus. He was, in a lot of ways, Robin Hood-esque, although the feds would tell you it was easy to be free and generous with other people's money. Joey never used his own money. Joey gave away turkeys to the homeless at Thanksgiving. I mean, he was very much wanted to be a man of the people. That was the image he projected. He also was probably, of all the mob bosses in the last 25 years in Philadelphia, Joey Merlino was the one who was least afraid of the media. He wasn't afraid to talk. He wasn't afraid to be quoted. There was a situation I recall back in the mid-1990s. Supposedly, Scarfo from prison puts a contract on Joey Merlino's life, $500,000 contract. And I remember the guys from Channel 29, Dave Stratweiser and Brad Now, the photographer, went to see Joey about it. They put the camera on him and they say to Joey, "Joey, what do you think about this $500,000 price tag on your head?" And Joey looks into the camera, that crooked grin of his, out of the side of his mouth, he says, "You give me the $500,000, I'll shoot myself." I mean, that was Joey. That was Joey's approach, you know? Larger than life, not afraid, and he just was out there. He was very much an outlaw and a one of a kind. There's been a lot of mob bosses since Angelo Bruno, but only one like Joey Merlino. And I don't think we'll ever see that again.